First Lady Jill Biden stopping by this school there in Meriden. You hear the kids cheering, along with Dr. Miguel Cardona. The new U.S. Education Secretary grew up there. News 12 Connecticut's John Craven at Benjamin Franklin Elementary School in Meriden. John, the whole town excited about this.
Della, you better believe it. This whole sidewalk behind me was packed today. Yeah, they were excited to see the First Lady. Who wouldn't be? But they were really excited to see Miguel Cardona, their hometown teacher, who's now in charge of the nation's schools.
Hi, Jill. Hi.
A humble hello from one of the most powerful women in America. First Lady Jill Biden stopped by Rachel Valentin's kindergarten class.
I think I was more nervous because kindergarten is kindergarten. You know, you're just not sure what's going to happen from day to day.
In Meriden, a huge crowd, but they weren't here just to see Biden. They wanted to see Dr. Miguel Cardona, the hometown teacher just sworn in as U.S. Education Secretary.
We're so proud of you, Miguel, and good work.
After the tour, Cardona said his top priority is reopening America's schools.
Across the country, future Lin-Manuel Mirandas are sitting at home instead of going to the drama club.
Like Miguel said, you know, teachers want to be back. We want to be back.
But in other states, many teachers are pushing back.
Our districts must unite! Our districts must unite!
Here in Connecticut, some teachers initially protested. But at this school, 70% of the kids are already in class, and another 200 are coming back this month.
We have teams that you didn't even see getting ready. Our custodial staff, our clerical staff.
Wait a minute, okay?
I want to move to the...
As the First Lady toured her class, Rachel Valentin wanted her to come away knowing one thing.
Teachers they want to be in the classroom, and we can do this.
Culture.
Hi, News 12. I just won The Voice.
Community.
The first shot went into the arm of Port Washington nurse Sandra Lindsay.
Connections.
Seems like so much fun.
It was pretty hectic.
Discover News 12 New York.
Hey, look, we're happy, right?
A new way to see the best of News 12's local channels from across the tri-state area, all in one place. Now streaming 24/7 on your favorite devices. Discover News 12 New York today.
As more and more people in the state become eligible to get the COVID vaccine, some are finding it hard to get an appointment. News 12 Connecticut's Mark Sudol tells us about a valuable resource to help.
We are in a disaster.
Joel Layden is a New Yorker now living in Connecticut. He headed up a group on Facebook a month ago called Vaccine Angels.
I never expected it to go from a few hundred to right now we're over 7,000.
The idea is to help people find appointments and offer support if you're anxious about the virus.
And we're providing a service here right now that the state and federal government are not.
Layden says he's noticed it's become harder to get an appointment for the vaccine, so he's advising people to
find a pharmacy or a healthcare provider in an unpopulated area.
Layden says each vial of the vaccine represents 6 shots, and out of 10 appointments, 2 or 3 don't show. So he says if you are at a pharmacy waiting, you may, like him, get one of the excess shots.
Jumping in line, we're not taking an appointment away from anybody else, and we're following CDC guidelines.
Layden knows supplies may not be able to keep up with the demand, but he offers this advice.
Be persistent, be patient, and be polite.
Mark Sudol, News 12 Connecticut.
And in the midst of this pandemic, one Long Island woman is on a mission to spread messages of hope and joy. News 12's Danielle Campbell shows us in a story you'll see only on 12.
Just a simple piece of chalk. I wanted to try to spread a little positivity and let people know that they're not alone. It's been great because I've met so many wonderful people that have said it has affected their lives in a positive way.
When the pandemic hit and for many fear set in, Leanne Chuley was inspired to do this on the sidewalk in front of her East Rockaway home.
I like anything with the word love in it. When it first snowed, I did all snow quotes.
After years of collecting hundreds of quotes,
this is my little quote book.
Leanne, armed with a rainbow of colors, spread her own sunshine on some very dark days.
It's like a work of love. People started stopping me in the street and said, "Are you the one writing the quotes?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Please keep going. This helps us."
It was a little ray of sunshine in the day.
I just love them all. She inspires me. I never thought in a million years that something so simple could have a positive effect like that.
The sidewalk inspirations have touched so many people. Leanne has received boxes of chalk and some quotes, and one person actually wrote a letter saying, "Thank you. You helped me through a very difficult time in my life."
I basically just cried the whole day when I read that.
With more than 350 quotes written outside her front door in all kinds of weather, Leanne says she has learned to do small things with great love.
You don't have to make grand gestures to change the world. That's what I learned from doing this. I think the world would really change if we had a little more love in the world. It's been a blessing in my life to do this.
Danielle Campbell, News 12, Long Island.
That is such a nice thing. And if you need more positive vibes, you can check out Leanne's Instagram page called Sidewalk Inspiration. We do have a link to it on our website, news12.com. And then
if you're looking for something new to watch, there's so much streaming, from a new animated adventure to the anticipated follow-up to the beloved classic comedy Coming to America.
Hey, what you doing back here? Mufasa!
33 years later, Roosevelt native Eddie Murphy reprises his role as Prince Akeem and goes back to Queens in Coming to America, premiering on Amazon Prime Video tomorrow. It's an action-packed crime comedy with an all-star cast.
These guns aren't going to shoot themselves.
Amen. In Pixie, native and Eastender Alec Baldwin plays an Irish gangster priest alongside Olivia Cook in the title role. It starts streaming on demand tomorrow. A new streaming service launches today. CBS All Access rebrands as Paramount Plus and debuts new movies and shows, including the return of the original Real World cast.
30 years later,
all of the season 1 cast members moved back to the same loft where it all began, in the Real World Homecoming, New York. And SpongeBob fans, this is for you.
Today I'm gonna catch my first ever jellyfish.
Meet a 10-year-old SpongeBob SquarePants in the prequel series, Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Under Years.
Do I smell a road trip?
Plus, stream the feature-length film, The SpongeBob Movie, Sponge on the Run, now on Paramount Plus. A new Disney princess, unlike any other, makes her debut.
My name is Raya.
Raya and the Last Dragon follows Disney's first ever Southeast Asian princess in this epic adventure. It debuts on Disney Plus with premiere access tomorrow. We can't wait to watch. There's so much I want to watch this week. That's what's streaming, working from home. I'm Elisa DiStefano.
While the weather's warming, the snow is melting, but a heads up to medical workers around Mercer County. Next big snowstorm we get, and you need a ride to work, Dan Vashtasco has you covered. This winter, he's been using his Jeep to safely ferry doctors and nurses to and from work during bad weather. No strings attached. If you need a ride, you just give him a call. His Jeep can handle the snow. This is what he posted on the Hamilton, New Jersey Facebook page with the phone number there. People called him. Dan started doing this, well, actually back in 2008 when he lived in Maryland. Now back in his hometown, he says simply, it is the right thing to do. Dan, we thank you. His kindness is doing Jersey proud. Michelle, I don't know that he's going to be having to do the taxi service anytime soon for folks around Hamilton. It is a part of the job that we don't often see, police doing their most important work, truly saving lives. Suicides are up during the pandemic. That is a tough truth. Port Authority cops deal with this dozens of times any given year, people wanting to jump from the George Washington Bridge. But the fact is, it could be any town. This week, it was Newark. Police rolling up on this scene, a man outside the fencing on a highway overpass. This was Nye Avenue and Interstate 78. Newark police officers Tiana Contreras and Brianna Shanklin calmed the man down, convinced him not to jump, and then got him to move back to the sidewalk. He was then taken to a hospital to be checked out. Officers would say this is just standard de-escalation training. But we salute these officers tonight and any officer who finds himself in this situation. Officers Contreras and Shanklin, you did Jersey proud.
Well, some of the state's larger vaccination sites have seen long lines in recent weeks. In some cases, the reasons had nothing to do with the way the shots are being administered and more to do with human behavior. And a behavior News 12 New Jersey's Brian Donahue found positively New Jersey.
How you doing, everybody? I'm here at the Meadowlands vaccination mega site where they had a problem this week that struck me as particularly positively New Jersey. People showing up too early. Turns out the lines here were getting tough to manage, not because the process was delayed, but because New Jerseyans were being a bit too aggro, or should I say enthusiastic. Some showing up 3, maybe 4 hours before their appointment time. Maybe they were worried that the people running things would somehow screw things up and they'd run out of vaccine, or some guy who knew a guy who knew a guy would take the shot that was supposed to go in their arm. I mean, you can't blame them. That's the kind of stuff that happens on the regular in Jersey. So when the appointment says noon, you get there 9 a.m.
If you've got an appointment, there's a vaccine for you. You don't have to worry about camping out or anything like that.
Got so bad, the governor had to tell people to just show up 15 minutes before your appointment time. It's gonna be okay.
There's no need for anyone to be arriving at a mega site hours before their appointment.
We're accepting 11 a.m. and under appointment time. If your appointment time's at 11 a.m., you can make your way towards the front of the line.
Things here seem to have mellowed out. I didn't find any over-eager early birds today. Folks did have to wait, but only because the computers crashed for a while and things were delayed. You could have showed up an hour late and made your appointment.
I got here at 11:15.
And what time's your appointment?
11:50.
Oh, so you weren't too early?
Not too early, no, considering I thought I'd get lost.
I met Lancy Lindsay waiting online. She just moved here from Colorado. Gave herself a bit of extra time, not because she was worried about getting snaked, but because she's still struggling to figure out our tangled mess of highways.
I didn't worry about that. I knew that the way they've got it listed and stuff, it sounded pretty well organized.
And so it's all worked out here. Just another reminder that along with our vaccines, we New Jerseyans sometimes need to be reminded to just take a chill pill. I'm Brian Donahue. That's Positively New Jersey.
Cleanup is now underway at the Gray Lady Oyster Bar on Manhattan's Lower East Side. Graffiti just one more hurdle for restaurants already suffering through the pandemic.
But it's kind of hurts because it's like kicking you when you're down.
The tagger caught on camera, spray painting away back in the beginning of February.
No one from the city is coming in to clean this up. We have to clean it up.
But that may be about to change.
New York City needs a little sprucing up.
Today, Police Commissioner Shea and other NYPD top brass announced a new graffiti removal initiative on a block that desperately needs help.
You tell us where we need to clean, and let's do it together.
The department says you can email them and request graffiti cleaning. Then on April 10th, cadets, auxiliary officers, and community members will come together to get the job done. I asked if any of this was spurred by the shootout back in February. Officers had tried to arrest 2 men graffitiing a building here in the Melrose section of the Bronx when a gun was pulled and shots fired. Luckily, no one was killed. But the commissioner says there's no connection.
No, I'll tell you that this was in the planning stages for quite some time.
The NYPD citing more than 6,000 vandalism complaints last year. Chief of Community Affairs Jeffrey Madry excited for the work to begin.
This is going to be a tremendous effort of cops and community working together.
The program is set to continue on after next month's kickoff, giving hope to those who need it most.
Hopefully people will come and help clean this up.
Justine Miller, News 12.
A lot of questions for our newly named New York City Schools Chancellor, Misha Ross Porter. She most recently has been serving as the Bronx Executive Superintendent. Moving on to the new role now of Chancellor, she will be making history as the first Black woman to hold that position. In our exclusive sit-down interview, News 12's Christy Reeder got some answers to many of your questions.
What would you want to, reach out there and tell our parents just that maybe are concerned about, my kids falling behind or concerned about sending them because of safety? What do you want those parents to hear from you?
Yeah, well, that I too am a parent of a 10th grade student who is in in-person learning and is excited about going back to in-person learning. And it was something we talked about as a family, and I know that every family has to make that decision, but what I can promise is that we will always center health and safety We have plenty of PPE to ensure that students have what they need to wash their hands, to mask up and all of that. And, you know, I'm a mama, so I'm not going to put anybody else's baby where I wouldn't put my own.
We are still in a pandemic. COVID's still there. So how do we make sure that we are protecting, you know, the kids and educators in the classroom? You know, what are your plans for that?
Well, I will say that, you know, I think we've done a phenomenal job of putting the safety measures in place, ensuring that there's PPE in every school, ensuring that social distancing requirements are in place.
And there are many issues she must tackle right away. A big one, the digital divide. Just this week, it made headlines that the company in charge of advanced placement testing wouldn't let students take the test using city-issued iPads.
When you hear digital divide, what are your ideas that are already going on how we can fix that?
Well, first, we're definitely disappointed with the College Board decision, and looking forward to them reconsidering and really rethinking that. But I want to really just acknowledge the way that communities have come together around a digital divide. First of all, we've put 500,000 devices in the hands of young people. We have, yesterday I saw our borough president delivering Chromebooks to a school in the Bronx. And this is a moment, the digital divide has to be closed by everyone.
And that's the big message. Get everyone involved. Christy Reeder, News 12.
And an Orange County business is taking Shop Local to a whole new level. And we're headed there in today's We're Open. We are talking about Newburgh Mercantile. It's a gift shop on Broadway overlooking the Hudson River. The owners say they sell merchandise that reflects their diverse community. And if you shop there, you're going to find items from as nearby as Cornwall and as far away as Morocco.
We have bath and body products. We have food and snacks, artwork, jewelry, home decor, and our specialty, hometown pride products such as this Newburgh pillow.
Got to get your hands on that pillow or maybe a t-shirt showing your love for that community. The business also offers in-house custom picture framing services as well. And we have more information on this local business on our website, news12.com.
Well, a Putnam County man honoring his father, a World War II veteran and retired NYPD officer, in a unique way on what would have been his 95th birthday. News 12's Blaze Gomez has the story you'll see only on 12.
Village is called Robertville in honor of my father. It represents, you know, any town USA. My father was the All-American, you know, baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, you know.
Memories of his beloved dad, Robert, a deceased World War II veteran and retired NYPD officer that Putnam County man Brian Bonifacio has spent the last 5 years turning into Lego form.
We went to Wildwood, Seaside Heights on the summer.
Everything is special and symbolic of a place or time the two had together before Robert passed away in 2018.
I spent so much time going to the movies with my dad. Jaws, Slapshot, and Rocky. We would watch those at least once a year.
There's even a police department in honor of his father's NYPD service on motorcycle patrol in the Bronx.
This is the Robertville Police Department?
That is, and I also was able to minimize the picture so he's hanging up in the hallway.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable.
And after thousands of hours materializing precious memories, which he keeps at his job at Yorktown Self-Storage, Bonifacio showed us the impressive display on what would have been his dad's 95th birthday.
He passed before it was fully constructed.
In memory and as a gift to a man he loved so much.
He was not only my father, he was my best friend.
Blaze Gomez, News 12.
Well, Brian Bonifacio says the Lego Village in honor of his dad is actually far from complete, despite it being incredible. He actually next plans to add a replica of Citi Field, since the New York Mets were his dad's favorite team.